This is the KoperCrabb Podcast.
I'm Chaney Crabb.
Navene Koperweis coming at you.
This week on the podcast, we've got Mallika Sundaramurthy of Abnormality, Castrator, Nidorous, I hope I pronounced that right, Nidorous, and Parasitic Extirpation, and one of the presidents of Ultimate Massacre Productions label. Thanks for being on the podcast, Mallika. I know it's really late there.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, and I'm usually up this late, so.
So do you put your daughter to sleep and then you have a few hours to yourself after it?
Exactly. This is some of my only time to myself, so yeah, I stay up past her bedtime.
Some me time right there.
Yes, me time, so important.
Time to make death metal in the free time.
Yes, it is the time.
So,
yes.
What you live in Prague? Just to throw that out there. That's where. How long have you lived there?
Since the beginning of 2016. Okay. So 4 years and it's almost 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time. Do you speak Czech?
I'm learning it, but I'm honestly not good. It's a very, very difficult language to learn.
Yeah, I've heard that those European languages are super hard to get.
Yeah, it's a Slavic language in the Slavic language family, and it just like has nothing in common with English like at all. And if a word kind of sounds like, oh, it's kind of like that, and it just like has a completely opposite meaning. Right. And like prior to moving here, I was pretty good with Spanish, and that like doesn't help me at all with learning Czech.
Right.
So like English, Spanish, and but I've been making a big effort to learn it. I at least I know the basics, and I can get around town and like go shopping and things like that.
That's pretty good.
But in terms of like deeper like I feel good about that at least. But after this amount of time, I really thought I would be better at it. But I'm being patient with myself because it really is difficult, and I see other Americans really struggling with it. Like some people just like give up and like never learn it even after 20 years of living here.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Well, so is it as prevalent there? Because for instance, in Germany, like every German speaks English that I've ever encountered. They always speak English. Is it like that in the Czech Republic?
So yeah, Germans actually, like most of them speak really good English, but it's not like that here. I would say like the younger generation, a lot of them speak English from watching American movies and stuff like that. But the older generation, like they maybe know a few words, and like most of them don't, but you'll meet the exceptions. Basically, when you go like to the downtown area because of tourism, in the shops and restaurants, like most people will speak English because the people that are hired, they have to speak English to serve the tourists. But when you get outside of the downtown area of Prague, then nobody speaks English.
Totally.
So you have to learn Czech.
That was the coolest part. Well, we played in Prague a few years ago and you came to the show, and the coolest part of the day was Julian, the vocalist of Gorod, is like an art history major. So he took us around, or he's an art historian. That's what he does for a job. So he took us around all of Prague because he had studied there for a while, and he just told us everything about the downtown, and it was such a beautiful city to see. So amazing. And so goth, which I love.
Yeah, it is very goth.
It's super goth.
It is so beautiful, and like so much history here, like compared to the US.
Oh yeah.
It's really fascinating, and I'm learning more about the city like all the time. And like, I just fell in love with this city the first time I was here, also on tour, and like, going around and looking at everything.
So you moved there to be with your husband, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
How did you
We were doing a long distance thing first, and we knew that one of us had to move eventually.
That's super long distance.
That's very long. How did you guys meet in the first place?
So we met when I was on tour in Europe, and we played a show in Prague. And he came to the show. It was actually like just down the street from his apartment. But he did not come to see my band. He came to see one of the other bands.
What band did he go to see? Spill the beans.
He came to see Dehumanized, which is one of his favorite bands, like old school, like New York style death metal, slammy death metal.
Yeah, yeah, my old band played with
said,
them
like,
one
he
time.
didn't really think. What's that?
Oh, my old band played with them in New York one time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
So
yeah.
what did you think of them?
Yeah, this was
Good
like
show?
15 years ago, probably. Maybe, no, it was probably, about 15 years ago. And yeah, it was a great show. I mean, it was like just one of those random, grimy New York death metal shows back in the
Oh,
day.
yeah, those are some of the best.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah. So I'm from the Boston area, and they're from New York. So I went to a lot of shows in New York, and they came to Boston pretty often. So I've known the Dehumanized guys for a long time. And on that tour, it was Dehumanized and Malignancy and this band from Iceland, Beneath, who are really good too. So yeah, that was super fun to see those bands every night.
And meet your husband.
Yeah.
Future
And
husband.
That was probably a good part.
So
Right?
it's like, yeah, so we met at the Prague show, and he was friends with the Dehumanized guys. He had like done some art for them before.
Oh, word.
So I met him through them, and he offered to show us around Prague because he lived there. It was like the nighttime, but that was the only time that we were going to be there because like of the long drives, you know how it is. We got there at night, and then we were leaving like at 4 a.m. or something.
Of course.
Yeah.
Tour
So,
time.
that was our only chance. Yeah, that was our only chance to see the city. And I had always wanted to go to Prague, so I was like, hell yeah! Like a group of like 20 of us went out walking in the city, and it was just like gorgeous, like even in the dark. So
Yeah.
like that was
Oh,
my
yeah.
first time meeting him, and he was telling all kinds of like stories about Prague, and it was really interesting. And then on the same tour, like a few days later, we played Neurotic Death Fest in the Netherlands. It's a really awesome fest. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore, but his band was playing that one. So then I met him again that day, and then we just like kept talking after that.
So
And,
it goes. That's how Navene and I met too,
Yeah.
except he was the one on tour in Des Moines. And then we had to make, like, we knew that one of us was going to move, and it wasn't going to be him moving to Iowa. Obviously, being from California, it was like, I'm moving to California. It happens though, you meet someone on tour and you fall in love, and then it becomes this whole like, okay, how are we going to make this work? Because after a while, the long distance thing isn't
Yeah, it's pretty-
as fun as it was,
pretty
Gets harder and harder. Yeah.
very
And
hard.
Like
It
Chaney
can be
would.
exciting
Yeah.
it can be exciting to move, even though you end up missing like your family and friends, probably, you know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
So how's that been?
Yeah.
Like moving to another country? That's probably pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think I took it more lightly, like when I made the decision, and now I feel like the full consequence of what the decision means. Especially during COVID, because I can't just go back and visit anytime I want, which is what I was doing prior to this. So now I just really feel the distance from my family, like now more than ever. And like, if someone gets sick, I can't just like be there, in the hospital or something. Like,
Totally.
but luckily my family's all healthy right now.
Well,
but
that's really good. What has the coronavirus situation in the Czech Republic been like?
I guess it's not as bad as some places, but it's not as good as other places. Like they've been handling it pretty well, but like we've just been dealing with a lot of lockdowns and like all the stores closing and everything. My husband owns a bar, and so like we've been shut down like for most of the year, like because of the restrictions, which has been pretty tough.
Totally.
Yeah, but we're hanging in there like everyone, we're not alone, like everyone's going through this.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
And you got the
Yeah.
baby.
I know. I was gonna say. I feel like
Yeah.
you're a person that I know who I feel like has been hit at every angle of this coronavirus thing. You just had a baby. Your husband owns a bar, or a couple of bars. Is that?
yeah, it was 2 bars, but we had to permanently close one because of this whole thing.
Jesus.
Yeah,
And
and we're just trying to hang on to the one.
yeah. And
So yeah, it's been challenging, man, but I know that I can't really feel bad for myself because I know that people have it the same or worse. Like at least we're healthy, at least we have our
Yeah.
health. So
It's true.
Totally.
And we get to spend a lot of time together now. And like with my young daughter, it's good. Like that she can see her dad more and trying to see the bright side of it, you know?
It's very true. I mean, and on one end, I feel like it would be, I don't know how, what it would be like to deal with it, having a brand new baby around, or like what kind of, panic goes along with that. But on the other hand, it's parents are sometimes not working as much. So you do have the opportunity that you may not have had to be around your daughter all the time, which is really
or
a
you
good
have
part
like
of
the
it.
opposite effect, You're like, I'm around all these people all the time. I can't stand them. It sucks. I know a lot of people that's happening, dude.
I know a lot of people who are breaking
not
up.
You personally?
No,
you guys?
no, Navene and I are going to be together for the rest of our lives. Yeah.
We've gone on tour, a bunch of times. So it's like, to me, it's no
that's
different.
The true
It's
test.
like,
It really is.
Like, try that. To all these Corona people, try living in a van with other people.
Yeah.
For months on it.
Yeah, with your significant other and with other people. But
No,
I mean,
I feel that you get to know your bandmates better than you ever wanted to. Like I know my bandmates better than my brothers and sisters.
yeah, way better.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not a good thing, but you have to hope for the best.
No, tour sucks, man. Tour is fucking so shot, dude.
Tour does have its really, really crappy part. I mean, it's like anything, but it does have crappy parts. There are crappy parts of tour.
And when you get home, you forget all the shitty parts. You only remember like the picture awesome, and you're like, it's so great.
So true.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the contrast. Like the lows make the highs of tour seem even better or something.
Absolutely.
Like, the downsides make the like the thrill even better or something.
So you did most or all of your touring with Abnormality?
Yeah, most of it. I did some touring with Parasitic Extirpation, another Boston area band.
All right.
The word. So you're directly from Boston?
Yeah, I grew up an hour outside of Boston, and then I went to college in Boston and stayed there after that, up until I moved to Prague. More than 15 years living in the city itself.
You have not a Boston accent at all.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, good job avoiding that accent. I don't know how you did it, but you did it.
Not everybody has it. It's like certain pockets of Boston, especially like South Boston. It's like I realize it's like very similar to Irish accent. Like it's because there's a big Irish population in Boston. That's where this crazy accent came from. It's
totally.
Like
that kind of makes sense.
The evolution of the Irish accent. Like, because I went to Ireland and I'm like, holy shit, like I understand these people like so well.
All right.
And then a light bulb moment, like, whoa. I know. I think Bill Burr is probably the best example right now of like just the most annoying, most Bostonian accent that there is. Like he totally plays into it. It's like, whew.
Yeah, I love it. And Josh, the bass player in Abnormality, has a crazy accent. And I love it, but it's not me. I think because I grew up in a small town outside of Boston where we speak proper English.
Yeah.
Like you. I mean, you guys don't really have too much accent.
No.
I got like a Santa Cruz bro thing going on
and
bit.
I've developed the Santa Cruz bro accent ever since I moved here. Like my California, when I go back home, my family makes fun of me like really badly because I'm like, dude, what's up, bro?
I want to hear. My favorite thing about the California is hella cool. Like I want to hear you guys say.
Yeah, we say that. We say that's hella cool. Yeah, we say it all the time. But we lived with like Navene. When Navene was in Animals, we lived with the guys in Animals as leaders, and they're from DC. So the DC accent started rubbing off on us as well. So we would say hella siced.
They have all these, it's not much of an accent. It's more of like just these weird words that they say.
Yeah.
So siced is one that's like you're excited.
Oh, I've never heard that actually.
Yeah. It's just
is that
a
DC
DC
one
thing.
Or old school?
Yeah, it's old school.
It's old school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then like instead of yo, they could say Joe. Like, no, Joe.
Oh, and they also say if there's a thing over there, it's like, yo, hand me that. Instead of hand me that thing, it's hand me that Jane. that jaint piece.
A jaint.
Yeah.
Jaint.
Jaint and jaunt. Like, I'm going to the jaunt.
Yeah.
Dude, it goes deep, DC accent. And then you have the Baltimore accent, which is right by DC. And those people talk like, I couldn't even put my finger on the accent at first. It's like Baltimore.
Yeah.
I can't.
I recommend watching that Fred Armisen bit where he does all the accents, like all the way down.
He does really
like the whole country. And it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a Boston one in there.
Yeah, he nails it. No, he does. He starts up at the top and then goes all the way around
to Boston.
But so since you've moved to Prague, one of the things I thought would be cool about living in Europe is that you could go visit all the countries because they're so nearby. You know, like, have you done a bunch of that at all? Yeah,
before the COVID thing, obviously. Like I was like going to some different festivals like in Germany and like, you know, going on as many vacations as I could. But like, I think because of the music situation, because of touring, I didn't have like that much time when I first moved here. And then,
right.
Then being pregnant and having a baby. Yeah, I thought I would be doing more traveling, but you know, we did a European tour with the band and like I saw a lot of countries on that. And the most, like since living here, the most I went to Croatia and I played one show in France, like as a guest vocalist for Unfathomable Ruination when their vocalist was sick.
That's sick.
That was just literally. Like, hey, they were like, hey, can you do this? And I was like, hell yes. Why not?
That's awesome.
And like, it was some festival in France and like, I've been to England a few times, like just traveling through to Boston and I have a couple friends that live there. And I went for my one friend's wedding in London.
All right.
Nice. So not as much as I thought I would, but just because of life situations and because of like obligations to the bands. Yeah, but I'm sure there will be more. I'm just like getting started with that. But this whole pandemic situation has really changed things. And I think like it's never really going to be the same after this. Like, I mean, tourism is going to be forever changed. I think like the way people view it and how much they want to do it. I don't know. I wonder that too. It seems like Europe is announcing a ton of festivals for next year right now. So I've been curious to know like how this stuff is going to, as far as the not tourism, but you know, touring period, how that's going to work out in the long run and if that stuff's going to happen. And so does it look different from your point of view? Do you see those festivals, all of these, I mean, Download and all of these crazy big festivals have been announced. Do you, from your now European perspective, do you see all of that stuff happening? I think it's just going to depend on like the vaccine availability, like if it's really going to happen. And if there's still a lot of travel bans, like those festivals might have to just do something more local, like for the countries that are able to come in, like the surrounding countries. Like Brutal Assault was canceled this summer, but they instead had like a smaller festival for like Czech people and like maybe like Germany for the people that could come into the country. But yeah,
that's cool. Were they doing?
I think that's probably what will happen.
Yeah, were they doing like the socially distancing thing at Brutal Assault or?
I don't think so. I think like probably it's an outdoor festival and like, I mean, probably they just told people to be responsible, but I don't think they had like very specific rules and things. The situation was a lot better in the summer actually here. Like, there was, so like in the, like everything started kind of like around February and like March. And then by like June, July, like everything was better, and even they like had a celebration for the end of like COVID here. They had a giant like dinner party on the Charles Bridge.
Whoa.
Like an artist installation.
They're like, it's over. Just kidding.
But they spoke too soon.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yes.
What's up with the socially distant mosh pit though?
Socially distant mosh pit.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think things were good here, but we knew that things were not good elsewhere. So, like, people weren't allowed to come in. But, like, in terms of concerts happening here, I think people didn't have to be so careful then.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, I
so what
think
you're
the
saying is
situation's
it's
a lot
all the
different.
Czech Republic's fault. You guys are over there
didn't-
spreading. I'm just kidding.
I'm not ready to say that. I don't want to get kicked out of the country.
That must be kind
I'm-
of crazy. That
I'm
must
now
be kind of
kicked out.
crazy there, though. Like Prague with low tourism. Like that's probably actually
It's
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so weird.
yeah. That must be
It's-
real weird.
It's very weird because like when I first moved here, it's like you couldn't move on the Charles Bridge. It was so crowded, you know. It was like it was
Yeah.
really hard to like move in the downtown area. There was just so many people, so many tourists, and now it's just like completely empty. It's like the zombie apocalypse. Like
That
like
is so weird.
28 days later.
Yeah.
It is
Fucking
so
fly out.
weird. It's like all those movies you watched, you know, when, about like, you know, zombie apocalypse or other kind of post-apocalyptic future. It's like we're living it, and it's weird. It's not as fun as you thought it would be.
That's true.
Yeah.
Where are like, you know, monster trucks or like, I don't know.
All of
like,
our ammunition.
helicopters.
Yeah, I know.
Our stockpiles of semi-automatic rifles.
Yeah. None of it's here. We just
No.
got the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
No cool weapons to back it
Yeah.
up with.
We're just on Netflix. All
Well,
day.
I remember that because that was something that was very, I noticed a lot when we were in Prague is when we were walking around, there were tourists everywhere. It was literally, I believe the bridge we went on is
Yeah.
the one that,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're talking
Yeah.
about. And it's like,
we did the whole
you
thing.
couldn't walk,
Yeah.
you were a foot away from a million different
Yeah.
people on that bridge. It was insane.
Oh yeah, and everyone's like taking selfies and like, you know, buying things and whatever. And yeah, it's
Putting
just,
their
like,
lock-
so different now. But
in their locks.
What?
You put like a lock.
yeah,
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah.
it's like carving your initials into a tree, like the equivalent. Like you put a lock and you like write your initials, like you and your loved one or whatever.
Yeah. They don't want people to do it though, right?
I
It's
know
like
what you-
frowned upon.
Yeah, I think you're not supposed to do it, but like, what are they gonna do? Like, people do it.
Yeah, we had a good time when we were in Prague. We played a wait, is that the show that she came to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We played it, and Julian took us to like the oldest brewery in Prague as well, in the downtown area. It was in this really like cuddy brick building. I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of it for the
Yeah.
life of me, but
Oh,
they had
definitely not.
really delicious beer at that spot.
Yeah, we had a beer there, and then one of 8 million beers that I drank on that tour.
I know. European tours, you will just
I
be
want to
drinking.
know what you.
What was
I
that?
want to know what you think of the Czech beer because it's, you know, known as some of the best beer in the world.
Yeah, it's like Pilsner style beer, right? It's like your classic.
Yeah, like lagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Uh-huh.
I remember specifically the beer because we all got past. It was very. There was a lot of head on it.
Mm.
Specifically, it was really good and it went down really smooth.
I don't know. I remember the day. I remember drinking a beer. I honestly don't remember anything about it.
We drank a lot of beer on that European tour. It was a party. That's for
It
sure.
was like borderline like a problem. Like I drank like at least I'd say between 10 to 20 drinks a day.
That's what happens when you're on a bus,
Straight up.
though.
Like
you
no
know?
joke. Because I was thinking back on it one time when I
And
was
when you're with Gorod, because those guys love to
Oh,
drink.
God,
And they'll
insane.
those French people, they
Yeah.
will be up drinking until 7 in the morning, and then they wake up at 9 and they go have a bottle of wine, and they're just like eating their pate. And it's like, how do you guys do this? I don't. So
Well, yeah.
But yeah, food. I guess.
Drinking's the best way to get rid of a hangover, I guess. But
Yeah.
that's not my style.
No
mine
way.
either. If I'm hungover, I'm in bed. Like I'm not.
That's it. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
toast. But anyway, so you're keeping
Chugging
busy.
water.
You're
Yeah,
keeping
chugging
busy
water.
with band stuff still from Prague, and are the bands in the States or what? How's that all work? Just doing the internet thing, basically.
So for a few years, I was doing Abnormality from here and flying back and forth and like making it work somehow, but like it was hard.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
brutal.
And-
That's like international.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It really. I mean, I can't imagine how much money you would have. I mean, granted, you see your family lives still in Massachusetts, right?
Right. So I would like combine like visiting my family with going on tour. Like I would come like a month beforehand and like also I get some practices in that way.
Right.
So like, yeah, we like prior to doing that tour with Suffocation and Soulfly, like I flew like in like a month before. And then the same, like later in that same year, like 2016 was like a big year of touring for us. And then on that same year, we did the tour with Napalm Death and the Black Dahlia Murder.
Yeah, I
and
remember
so like,
that.
yeah, that year I spent like a lot of time in the US and like, yeah, I flew in like a month before each tour. And like, that was enough to like get, you know, in the groove with the band and also like get to see all my friends and family. And like usually by the end, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go back to Prague.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But now, like, yeah, it was like enough. I was like, okay, I saw everyone. I feel good. And now I miss my boyfriend, now husband. Well, he was a husband in that year. Yeah. And yeah, and there's like, you know, good and bad about both places. So like I got to enjoy it and then come back here. And like I liked the back and forth. But now like that I haven't been back in so long, I'm so homesick. I'm missing Boston so much. And like when I watch movies based in Boston, I'm like, oh my God, it's like it's that place. I really miss it. I wish I could just go there.
The town.
Yeah. I've been watching like some Mark Wahlberg movies and like, can't even say like.
I find myself actually missing like just because we live in California, so it's kind of different from the rest of the country, and like that's one of the big things that I miss about tour is just like the like token American stuff, you know, just like country music and like Coors Light and Flying J and like all that stuff.
Flying J.
You know?
Do you find, Mallika, do you find yourself missing Flying J's right now? Because we're missing them really bad.
Totally. Like when you...
I miss things like Dunkin's. Like that's such like a New England thing. Like, I hate Dunkin' Donuts, like for the record, but like I just miss seeing them now.
I know.
These like American icons, you know.
Totally.
Like I miss just going into like we talk about this a lot. There's like this moment that happens on tour all the time, and it's you pull into like a Flying J or like some truck stop, and it's really late, really late, maybe even morning. So you get greeted as like, oh hey, good morning when you go in there, and there's like country music playing, you know, and you can smell the bread from the subway, and you're just like, man, this fucking rules.
And
dude.
you
know,
may
like,
have
I miss that.
You may have just woken up from like sleeping in your van, being incredibly cramped. So you're like just waking up to all these kids and like people who are like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the Flying J, and it's just a very specific feeling.
I love that, dude. That's the best.
I think we don't have those like in New England. I think that's like a West Coast thing, is it?
No, but you want
No, we're talking about middle America, because where we live in Santa Cruz, we're very cut off from like the normie US. Like Santa Cruz is an ocean town, and we're separated by San Jose and San Francisco by mountains. So it's very like small town vibe, and it kind of feels like the East Coast, like a Salem or something like that, where it doesn't really feel like it's a part of the States very much. I don't know how to
I have been to Santa Cruz. Yeah, I have been there a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys play here?
My ex-husband actually was from Santa Cruz.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's fine. Okay. But yeah, I've been there, and I really like Santa Cruz. I like California a lot. San Diego especially. I had a really good time there, like when we were on tour.
Oh yeah.
Totally. Metal people love San Diego.
Really, totally.
It's just the climate is like perfect too.
Yeah.
It really is.
Santa Cruz is good too.
It's kind of cold.
Yeah, the weed and
cold.
the laid back attitude. I like the spirit of the people.
Yeah.
We're so uptight in Massachusetts. I've been there, but
Californians.
I think I vibe.
Californians are sort of rude. That was my biggest thing in dealing.
Are they?
Oh my God! In moving from the Midwest, where everyone is super friendly, to California, where people don't. There are just like small interactions that happen on an almost daily basis where people don't say excuse me here as much, or thank you if you hold a door open for them. It's almost like it's not to their fault, but it's just a part of the culture that doesn't exist as much as it would in the Midwest or the South. So to me, they're kind of rude, but to them, I think that it's just like a normal
Well,
thing.
to her, they're probably like really nice.
Yeah, but you're from the East Coast, so you probably think Californians are like really friendly people.
Yeah, like we pride ourselves on being assholes, or we call ourselves massholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's like the way we show someone that we like them is by being an asshole to them, being a dick, like making fun of them. It's like it's the most fucked up thing, actually.
So, are your parents from Massachusetts as well?
Well, no. So, yeah, like I'm from an international family and like mixed culture, mixed race. So my father is like an immigrant from India. And my mother, though, she is from the New England area. Like her family is like, she's of British descent, like from, she can trace it back to the Mayflower, and like, not to sound like totally.
Of course, all moms do that.
Actually, I know.
All moms love tracing their heritage. My mom loves doing it.
God,
Navene's mom.
Yes.
That's what Chaney was thinking she's like, oh, for Christmas we could get like an
Ancestry.
And I was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't care at all. And like, no, it doesn't matter to me whatsoever.
My mom got me one and it's still sitting in my closet. Sorry, Mom, but it's sitting in my closet and I haven't used it yet.
But what part of India is your dad from?
He's from Tamil Nadu, which is the southeast.
Okay.
Like outside of Chennai, which used to be known as Madras.
Yeah, all right. Nice.
So yeah, he's like, first generation, you call it. Like he came during college. He met my mom while they were both in university, and they were studying in Montreal though. So they met in Canada. Oh, wow. And my older brother was born in Canada, and then they moved to the US after they got married. So crazy. Yeah, I have like all of my dad's family is in India still, and I've been to visit a few times, but like, yeah,
have you?
All his side of the family is in India still. And yeah, my mom's family is all in the New England area, mostly New Hampshire. And I've lived in New Hampshire for a couple of years when I was younger, but most of my life was Massachusetts.
Nice.
That's so what is your dad's native language?
It's Tamil. So it's good that you asked, because like some people just assume that it's Indian language, but it's actually there's hundreds of languages in India, like or thousands even. Yeah.
See,
it's crazy.
I've learned this because Navene's parents were devotees, Hare Krishna devotees, and his dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his dad knows Hindi, and I was talking to an Indian friend, and I mentioned that Navene's dad knows Hindi, and he explained to me like, that's just the popular language in India. There are hundreds of languages, and everyone kind of assumes because of Bollywood that Hindi is the language that everyone speaks, but it's just not true.
Well, it is the official national language, and English. Well, or it's like Hindi is the national language, but some people refuse to speak it because they don't want it imposed on them. So like they prefer English. Rather than being forced to learn Hindi. It's kind of interesting. Okay. So like most Indians speak English really well, and also because Britain occupied them for so long too.
Right.
But yeah, so like I guess the common language is English. Just like around the world, like the common language most people will speak as a second language is English.
Totally.
So it's the same in India.
So did you grow up with like those values? Have you read the Bhagavad Gita and gone down that path at all, or is your dad?
I am. Yeah, my dad is a Hindu, and he's not a Hare Krishna. He's a Hindu. Like the Krishnas is like a part of Hinduism. Like as a whole, it's like they're focused on that.
Yeah. Yep.
Krishna, the one God.
The one.
But there are hundreds of gods.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Yeah, but my father's a Hindu, and my stepmother. My father and my mother divorced a long time ago, and my stepmother is from India also. So like she's very devout Hindu, like practicing.
Do you know which tradition that they are in? Or are they not in one?
I don't know specifically, like beyond just like Hinduism as a whole, but like she does the pujas and the rituals and everything.
Okay, awesome.
Recognizing the holidays. But I don't call myself a Hindu, but I really respect it as like a spirituality, and I admire the stories because there's a lot to learn inside of them. I think there's a lot of wisdom in those stories. I take it more as like not to be taken literally, but more as like lessons you can learn from those stories.
Yeah,
that's what I like about it. As it's like because Navene has been really into reading the Bhagavad Gita, and it's like for Prabhupada's descendants, they take it all very literally. And for me, I like, if you read through it, there are things in there that could almost act as like daily inspiration.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And there's so much of it. Yeah.
And that's, to me, what I enjoy about it, more so than being like a devout person of any religion. I just, those things are important to read. It's important to think about a lot of the things that it brings up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many books, like, and it's just however, like, deep and like mind-blowing you want to go, it's there. You know, that's what I love about the whole the Vedic culture. And, is just like,
and references to like nuclear weapons in the Bhagavad Gita. You probably have heard about this.
Yeah, more so.
My
in
dad
the
loves to talk about this.
Your dad loves to talk about
first place.
Your dad and Navene's dad would probably get along so well, because Navene's dad is just like so well versed in the philosophy that it's like, dude, he knows everything. It's crazy.
They're not like, my parents aren't a part of the Hare Krishna thing anymore, but I mean, obviously it's like, that's how they met and everything. That's why I have an Indian name. You know, Navene is an Indian name. So
I was gonna ask you that because you know what, my brother's name is Navene.
There you go.
Really?
There you go.
So, like,
there you go.
Is it spelled?
Yeah, and I was like, it's spelled Navin.
Oh,
but I know it's like you can spell things differently because like in the Indian languages, they're written with different characters. So like when you translate it to English, like you can do it however it sounds right, you know. Like,
absolutely.
So is
I knew it was
Mallika
Indian, and I was like, you don't look Indian, but
what's
up with that?
What's up with that? What's up with that? You white kid with an Indian name.
Yeah, no, I got the cool name. So, and then is Mallika a Sanskrit name?
It's Hindi actually.
Oh, okay.
So it means jasmine, the flower.
Oh, okay.
But my dad, like, what he did was like he made a list of Indian names, and like my mom picked which ones she liked to name all of us, and like Mallika was a girl in my dad's village that he had a crush on when he was growing up. So, like, that's why he put it on the list, which is like kind of hilarious actually. But Mallika is like a pretty common name in India. It's like probably like Susan in the US. It's like it's really common.
Yeah, I've heard that Navene's pretty common too.
Yeah, Navene.
So, which
Navene
I think
means new, I believe. You know that.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you got the brother. So I was like, I'm
only telling you what your
fucking mind blown.
Which I'm sure you know.
Yeah. Mind blown. Yeah, but I mean, that stuff's really incredible. And like with the nuclear weapons and stuff, like I don't know if you've heard of like the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavat Purana, some people call it. But that's where like all the really far out there stuff is hanging out, like with the.
I love hearing about those stuff though. Yeah, like archaeological digs and like finding traces of radiation in parts of like old ruins in India and stuff like you could really wonder like if civilization has risen and fallen and maybe multiple times over, because the planet is so old and known history is so short. So like, who knows?
I know. And it's like, it sounds so crazy and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, could be, could be. And I like reading it and and taking a lot from it and everything. It's like definitely changed my life a lot, like reading about all that stuff for sure. I think about it all the time.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome. So are you like a religious person or more like spiritual? Like,
I don't really know. I don't really know
so you
what.
Wouldn't call yourself a Hare Krishna or anything?
I wouldn't really call myself a Hare Krishna. I mean, I've read their Bhagavad Gita a bunch, and then I've read like, I'm also into like the Advaita Vedanta side of things, which is like the non-dual. It's I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, it's like it's more of just like a singular God that kind of exists within everything. It's not like there's not a God and then the jiva, which is like the soul, the individual person, like that. In their philosophy, it's just everything is just one plane of existence.
It's almost like when people reference the universe, like universal consciousness. It's
exactly
that.
Yeah.
Which is actually funny that I'm into both of those. Too. Yeah, which is funny that I'm into both of those things because the Hare Krishnas are like vehemently against that thing. So it's like kind of just how
I'm suspicious of any religions that's like only this and don't look over there.
Exactly.
What I like about Hinduism is like Hinduism embraces everything, and like anytime, like what I've heard is like over the course of history, when like a new god was introduced, they're like, sure, your god can join our party, and like that god is like part of Hinduism now. Like I really like that about Hinduism. They're not restrictive in any way, and like my mom. So like on the other side of things, my mom is born again Christian, and like. We were raised without religion, and then at some point my mom turned to born again Christianity like as a way out, like as a way to like fix her life or whatever, and like she was super extreme, and like that didn't vibe well with me like as a kid and afterwards, and like just how restrictive it was. And I went to like a Christian like private school and everything.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I saw some really crazy stuff, like speaking in tongues and things like that, and people that claim to see angels, like serious stuff, which kind of like changed my view on the world and religion and everything, whereas I prefer to be more relaxed about things. And, like,
absolutely.
I prefer to be around people who are more open-minded than people that are very restricted, and they're thinking like this or you're going to hell, like like okay,
that was because my parents weren't super Christian, if Christian at all, if religious at all, but my grandmother is. So I went to church with my grandmother when I was a kid, and I was being confirmed when I was like 13, 14, and getting super into metal, and really, along with listening to metal, I became super open-minded to the world, and they really didn't like the metal aspect. So being confirmed and seeing that part of Christianity, like the super extreme, is what turned me completely against it as well. And going back, I went to church with my grandma when I was in my maybe mid-20s, and they pulled all of the children down from and had them come to the center and to speak with the pastor during a service. And the things that they were saying to the kids just did not vibe with me. Like they were literally telling the kids that if they didn't act a certain way, that Satan would be a part of their lives, and that they would be, and that's sinning. And I just think that it's really unhealthy to tell kids who are super impressionable of that age that bad, horrible things are going to happen to them if they don't act the right way. It's just not something I would ever put my child through. It was really like, and I think that's when I was really like, whoa, this isn't something that sits well with me.
Yeah. I'm the same way. And not to tell other people like what they should or shouldn't believe, but I just really believe that nobody should push their religion on other people. And like, for sure. The more open-minded people are, the better.
I get it, but on the flip side of the coin, like just to throw this out there, it's like if that, like for instance, the Hare Krishna movement, like they were super aggressive in preaching and getting all this stuff out there, and like if it wasn't for that, then a huge amount of people in America like would know absolutely nothing about Vedic culture at all, because you got to figure a lot of people, maybe they got a Bhagavad Gita on the street or whatever, read that, and then from there they moved into all these other different territories within the whole Vedic system, and like, so I don't really know how to look at it, because for instance, like I was telling you, I'm into that like Advaita Vedanta. It's like a different approach, and they've been here in the States since the 1800s, but no one's ever heard of it because they don't preach.
That is true.
Like their whole thing is they don't preach, they don't do any of that type of stuff. They have like one. There's only one teaching. It's just that like everything is this one eternal aspect, and nothing else is like this world is impermanent. There is a real, there is like a permanent existence that's beyond this world, and this is sort of like a reflection of that, right? And it's like that's
kind of like where quantum physics is like heading to.
Right, and it is in line with a lot of scientific thought, like the holographic principle and all that stuff, and so. I was super into that, right, for a number of months, but then after a while, you're kind of like, okay, like, what do I do with this? You know, it's like, it's great. And I get it, I guess, to an extent, but that's why with the other religions that are sort of more strict, I guess you could say, like, they offer a day-to-day like practice, right?
Yeah.
You know,
and you do this, you wake up at this time.
Yeah.
You
like in Sanskrit, it's called sadhana. It's like what you do during the day. And so I think it's helpful in that way, but obviously it can go too far, like what you were saying, and sort of take over people's lives and cause closed-mindedness. And not only that, but you know, when people start feeling superior, that's a problem. I think, obviously.
Right. And like it can be religious people or atheists too. I think it's like the superiority complex of humanity.
It's totally true. I feel like a lot of people who preach atheism don't acknowledge that fact, that it can be just as preachy as any religion.
I know.
And it can be just as bad for people as any religion.
Exactly. It's like, at the end of the day, like we don't know for sure what's going on. Like in what meets the eye, you know, we're trying to, with our human senses, we're trying to make sense of the whole universe, right? And it's like, that hasn't gone very far, in my opinion. It's like, we know some stuff from what we can tell, but we don't know if it's atheism. We don't know if it's the other way. So it's like thinking that you're the topmost, like smartest, that's the whole thing. I get how that's a problem, you know? And that's what's kind of cool about the Vedic stuff is it's like, it's in there. You should look to something higher than just examining and trying to figure it out on your own, you know, like the scriptures and stuff, the texts, you know, like, so that's why I'm into reading it, because it gives me that different perspective.
Yeah. And that's getting a new perspective is like really a great way to grow and learn things and learn wisdom.
Absolutely. Do you feel speaking of new perspectives, do you feel like motherhood has, like, how has it changed you in those ways? Do you feel like a different person?
First, like I've just like had like my mind blown with new perspectives, like just first moving to Czech Republic and like completely different language, completely different culture. Yeah. So like just being like a total immigrant and like being really bad with the language and like having to go through that whole struggle, it's given me a lot of perspective in life. And like, you know, America is really welcoming towards foreigners in general, besides certain groups of people. Yeah. But like, it's not really that way here. Like they kind of like anti-foreigner vibes here, which can be really hard sometimes. Yeah. So
I think that's a thing that a lot of people don't, like, they kind of take for granted, you know, like here, of course, you're like you said, there's some people who aren't all about it, but as a whole, it's like everyone is pretty different here, you know, and being from another country isn't that weird, you know, whereas with these smaller European countries, it's like, it's not like that at all, you know, people don't immigrate there.
It's very homogenous here, very homogenous, very like white, like Czech people, like mainly Czech people here. And they're very suspicious of foreigners, and like they're happy to meet you is like when they think you're a tourist, and then when you say that you're staying here long term, then they get really cold.
Wow.
Like, and like to be fair, like I had like some crazy experiences, like with the doctor who was like a eugenicist, like crazy doctor. Yeah, but I won't get into that.
No, let's get into that.
Yeah, let's get into it. What happened?
Let's get into that.
That's like
okay, let me just finish my point first, and I'll get into that. But like yeah, you know, I just like, you know, I'm American, like like with this whole perspective thing, what I've really come to realize is that I'm like completely American. It's just like in me, the culture, and like you can't separate yourself from it. You can leave the country, but you can't take the America out of you. You know, like totally. When you grow up there, it's just like becomes you. But like growing up in America, like I always felt like I didn't fit in, like being half Indian and having this weird, crazy name, Sundaramurthy, like, you know, I always felt like I'd never really fit in, and like, but now I realize that I am completely American, and American can mean like a lot of different things, you know, and like, you know, when I was younger, you know, I thought that way, but as I grew up and went to college and, you know, met a lot of different interesting people, I realized that, you know, it's like American is like a global culture, you know, like we've absorbed like all these people from all the different places, but like
totally.
there is just something that like the spirit of America that exists in all of us. You know?
Well, it's one of the countries where you can move here, and then once you move here, you're American. Right? And it's like you're
just
not
being there, you become it. Like
exactly.
Like it's hard to explain.
Where it's like if I move to like Japan or whatever, it's like I'm not going to be Japanese.
Ever.
You know,
you'll never be Japanese.
Happen, you know?
Even if you move there when you're 20 and you live there until you die when you're 100, you're never going to be Japanese.
Or recognized as that. Right. Whereas here, it's like once you're an American citizen, you're American. That's it. You know, that's what's cool about it.
And I love that about it. Like it's something I really respect about America is like, in general, besides the awful current president and things like that, but like we generally welcome immigrants with open arms and like.
Totally.
It's almost like we look upon those people as they're amazing. Like we all celebrate our past, our heritage. It's celebrating
diversity, and everybody's bringing something to the table, and that's part of what makes America great. And like I think it's like a melding of minds and like cultures, and like it really brings the best of a lot of things together, and like it also creates something new. And this is something I realized living here in an old culture, like in a country with a lot of history, is like America is a place of like new ideas and open-mindedness. And like here is like we do things because it's always been done that way, and like not very open to new ideas. Like having worked in a few jobs here, I've realized that. I was like, why do we do this? And they're like, oh, we do this because we've always done it this way. I was like, okay.
And like traveling around Europe, you start to get that perspective for sure. Like I've talked to, I was talking to a guy that I know. He's like he's actually a pretty popular like music producer. Rezo, his name is. Anyway, he's from the UK, and he was like, yeah, I mean, there's so many like, what was I gonna say? Oh, there's so many producers. Because I was like, what? There's so many producers from UK, And he's like, yeah, because like to have a band, you have to get all these like permits and licenses and jump through all these hoops and everything. Really? So it's like that's why everybody's just a producer, because it's easier, And that's why there's so much electronic music from there. And it's like that's something that you do notice, like traveling through Europe, is that it's a lot easier here to start up a band or like a business and just like get going with it.
Well, also here, if you become a notable figure in our society, then you're kind of known around the world. It does not work in the opposite way. It's very hard for bands from anywhere else to break through in America. And if they do break through on tours in America, it's completely celebrated and it's like a big deal to them. Whereas to us, it's like going to Europe is awesome, but I don't think any of us would view it as like breaking through in any specific country. It's just a different, it's a different thing. And there are things that we take for granted.
Totally.
Before knowing all of these things.
Yeah, and obviously it's like I get the complaints and all, like I get that for sure. But for me personally, like I've traveled a bit and everything, and I'm just kind of like, well, on the flip side, it's pretty great. It's pretty good. There's a lot of good here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And like you're saying, moving away.
The more you appreciate your home, right? Like the more you appreciate what's good back home. Like,
all right, so let's hear about this eugenics
tell us
doctor.
About the doctor. Back to the doctor.
Okay, but one more point is like I think
she's really avoiding this question.
I'm avoiding this. Before I say how awful this doctor was, I'm going to say like I'm trying to be understanding here.
Yeah.
So like Czech Republic is a really small country. It's like 5 U.S. states put together or something, or even less, like 4.
What's the population?
California. I don't know.
I would imagine.
Wasn't this on your exam? Wasn't this on your exam when you had to take an exam?
Okay, hold on. Let's take guesses here, and I'm gonna look it up. I'm guessing. My guess is 5 million.
Thank you.
5 million.
5 million. Yeah.
I'm guessing 300,000.
No, Chaney, come on, dude. In the whole fucking country.
I have no idea. To me,
I'm not talking about Prague.
What do you think, Mallika?
Yeah, what's your guess?
I honestly have no idea. I'm gonna sound stupid.
That's why
I'm really bad at statistics.
Take a guess.
Really
Take a guess. We're all bad at it.
What? In the whole country?
The whole country. Czech Republic.
I don't know. How many people are in the U.S.?
I'm just going,
I don't even know
lot.
this.
10.65 million in Czechia.
In Czech Republic?
Yeah, how do you say it? Czechia?
Okay.
Czechia?
Oh, they changed. Okay, get this. They changed the name of the country like recently. Like
What?
who does that?
Who does that?
They
That's
change it.
I
kinda
don't
sick.
think you're allowed to do that after like 1855.
I'm refusing. I'm calling it Czech Republic still.
All right, hey, let me
Because,
give you guys-
Czechia. It sounds weird.
But,
I'll give you guys
what's
some
it called now?
Let me give you some perspective. I'm pretty sure New York city, you've got 7 million people.
Yeah. Yeah, you have almost the population of this whole country. I was gonna say, I'm like, I feel like New York has like equivalent population.
Yeah, that's
like,
why that's kind of why I
guess.
guessed 5 million, because I was just like, well, it's probably most European countries have less than New York, the city,
That's true.
and America's 350
Yeah.
mil. By the way,
350 mil compared to,
Okay.
to what's it now called?
10 million. Czechia.
Czechia?
CH is like like a
I'm
Spanish
never
jota.
gonna call it that.
and wait,
Czechia.
before that,
It's
it
never
was
gonna be that to me.
it was Czechoslovakia, right? Before that,
Well, yeah, that's when Slovakia and Czech Republic were together and during the communist era. So then after that communist era, Czech Republic and Slovakia, like they were like this, and then they split into two separate countries.
Okay.
got it.
So Slovakia is still Slovakia. They haven't changed their name, but yeah, now we're Czechia. And you want to know the reason why?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Yes.
Is it because of Donald Trump?
Because no, like I want to hear like a guess. Like
Okay, I'll make a guess up.
you have no idea.
I think maybe they didn't want the English word Republic in there.
I'm thinking because I'm going to guess along the same lines because they thought it sounded more English.
Yeah, they
to do
wanted something that was a
Czechia.
little more down home.
Yeah.
A little more shredded cabbage type stuff.
No, it's because the country name was too long to fit on the sports jerseys.
Oh my God.
Oh,
And
okay.
football.
That's the worst
Football,
reason
aka
ever.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Right?
Soccer
Like, at least that's what I
means
heard.
too much to these European people. They take
they love
soccer way too
They love it.
seriously.
They love it.
Yeah,
But,
so
yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah, Czechia, that's where I live now.
All
I
right.
like to say Prague because like everyone knows Prague, but no one
Yeah.
knows Czechia.
Well, but don't they call
Actually,
it? Don't they call
when
it
I moved here, my
Prague?
mom was like, Mallika, you're moving to a war zone. Like, be safe. I'm like, Mom, I'm not moving to Chechnya.
That is
Czech
such
Republic."
such a mom thing to say. My mom,
But
anytime she sees me traveling anywhere, like to Mexico City, she wanted me. She was like, "Be really careful because there are a lot of cartels in Mexico City," and I'm like, "Mom, no."
Yeah,
Mom.
exactly.
My mom hasn't traveled a ton, so her opinions come from CNN most of the time.
Yeah. But now Czechia sounds more like Chechnya, which is bad, but that's
That
okay.
is true. It does. What year did they change the name in?
It was last year, yeah,
Oh
or
my
like
God.
early this year. No, I think it was 2019 though.
I just feel like that name's
okay.
never gonna catch on.
It is like official now though, but they're still accepting Czech Republic like in the mail system, so I'm still writing it as my return address.
That is insane. God, I was just gonna ask you something. Well, let's circle back to the doctor situation. Navene's about to come back. I want to know what
Should I wait
happened.
for Navene to come back?
Here he is.
Bathroom break.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to talk about it.
Okay. No, okay, I'll get into that. I was
Alright.
just trying to, give the Czech. Okay, so to give the Czech people credit, like I didn't even finish that point, is that they live in a small country, right? Like a small landmass, which has been taken over like a couple of times, like first the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and it was like Prague was like the capital of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and they were first forced to learn German.
Oh wow.
And then like the Nazis took over here. So like they've had culture and language forced on them. So like that's why they have like this fear of other cultures and languages, I feel like.
Yeah.
And,
Understandable.
like, they're such a small country and they don't have a big military. So like if there's ever like a World War III, like they're just gonna like, get taken over like
Yeah, they're
quick,
chapped.
Right.
So like to be fair to them, like, they've been through a lot and like that's why they have this fear of foreigners. They're just trying to like protect their culture and language, and this is the only place in the world where Czech language is spoken. So
Wow.
That makes sense. They should
Yeah,
do what Switzerland does, dude. Have the militia.
Switzerland has a militia.
Yeah, like every household is like part of the militia.
What does that mean?
Like you have a gun and you're like good to go. Like if something like that goes down, like World War III, I'm kind of like giving you a really broad overview, but that's what it is. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Every household's like trained
US
to.
colonies had that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's and they weren't part of World War II for that reason, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, also because of the mountains. That's why Switzerland has been able to remain neutral, like, over the course of history, like, because it's really hard for an army to invade there, so they can stay out of it. They have the luxury.
There you go.
At least that's what I heard. I'm no historian here, but yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
I find it
I'm
interesting.
just totally talking
Well,
shit.
that's what people would do. They would escape. They would try to escape over the mountain range into Switzerland, and if they made it, then they would make it to freedom. Essentially.
Yeah.
Sound of Music, anyone? Sound of Music?
Yes, I thought that's what you were referencing there.
I just rewatched that the other day. All right, back to The Doctor.
Oh my god, I love it. I'm gonna rewatch that.
Such a good movie.
Oh, it looks like you got a lot of
Childhood
DVDs
favorite.
there. Are those DVDs? What do we got?
Oh no, these are CDs.
Oh my
Still have
God.
CDs were old school.
The last living CD collection on Earth.
The perspective is all like askew, doesn't they look? They look huge.
Yeah, they look like DVDs for sure.
They look
Oh,
honestly
no.
too big to be DVDs.
No, they're CDs.
That's pretty sick. I
For
wish that I would have
sale.
kept all. Whoa.
All right, that's
Yeah.
pretty legit.
Do you
That's
guys
sick.
do you guys still collect CDs?
We do.
That's
And like I feel so old when I say that. Like like death metal people and brutal death metal people, we're like so like stuck in the past.
1996.
Like we still and like we're kind of like okay with that. Like we're just like, yes, the classic era music. But we also have vinyl and tapes. cassette
We have
tapes.
vinyl. Yeah. Navene and I have gotten really into collecting vinyl in the last year or so. So we're like getting all of the classics first, but it's
Yeah,
a
I love
fun
it.
hobby. I love doing it.
I still have like CDs that I had in high school, like, and that's cool. Sometimes,
should've
like when I'm
kept
feeling
them.
nostalgic,
I
I'm like,
know.
I'm gonna put on like Deftones or like something
That-
Rage Against the Machine.
That sort of breaks my heart because we both got rid of the CDs that we had in high school. So
Yeah, no, I saw the Spotify thing coming, and I was like, dude, these aren't going to be worth anything. I'm going to sell them right now.
Yeah.
And I sold all, like, literally the whole thing. That's it, all of them.
Oh, smart.
I mean, it was
like,
kind of
it's kinda
smart.
Nice.
I mean, not
It's
really.
kind of nice to keep it as like a memory, like a scrapbook. Maybe like they'll be worth something.
Totally.
Like Discogs, like actually, there are certain CDs that could be worth like $100 or multiple hundreds of dollars.
whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
Like especially like for like brutal death metal collectors, like we have some rare releases here that are worth something.
What do you got?
Yeah, what
So
do you
never
have?
know. Like Pyrexia CD, like first edition, like some obscure things here.
Yeah, what do you got? What's the first? People that listen to this
have,
want to
like-
know. What's up? What do you got?
Well, that's like, well, most of the like really like obscure ones are like my husband's, and he would have to tell you. But like I know that Pyrexia one is like rare, and what else? Like, I mean, I have like some crazy old demos too, but I don't really know if they're worth anything.
Yeah.
But like from like I have like Revocation's first demo, for
Oh, yeah.
instance, like things like that. Like we kept like everything. I used to have like a Burzum first press like from Norway, but like I let my ex-husband have that, and now I'm kind of regretting it.
Oh no, you
Did
lost
you
that in the
But
divorce.
he's kind of like a Nazi though. Like they get Barg is kind of like a Nazi, so maybe I'm better off without that.
Yeah. Did you see that stupid movie about Burzum or whatever? On like it was on.
Well, it wasn't about
yes,
birth.
actually, it was good.
It was.
Oh,
Oh,
it
you liked
wasn't
it?
stupid.
I thought it was so dumb. I was like, this is fucking lame, dude.
She's
I'm signaling to my husband if the baby's, if I'm being quiet enough.
Oh, all right.
Are you being quiet
Yeah,
enough?
she's sleeping. Yeah,
All
I
right,
think it's
good,
okay.
good.
Yeah, he'll tell me if I'm being too loud. Yeah.
All right, anyway, I
so,
was just
what other
eating.
ones? Like, oh, I gave my husband like a first pressing Death CD that's like worth
What?
something.
Damn.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
Yeah.
dude.
That's legit.
So,
Yeah,
That's legit.
that's really nice
Yeah.
of you to do.
History
To
of
have done.
death metal, you know.
All right,
So, yeah,
let's get back.
We're not going to get to the
Let's
doctor
get back
thing. It's
into
not
the
gonna happen.
doctor because I want to ask you about. I want to get into
doctor.
brutal death metal, but first I want to talk about
Cross
the
this
doctor.
off and then move on.
Yeah, and I can like show you some vinyl collection.
Hell yeah.
Like I'm really into vinyl too, but
Hell yeah.
my collection's not as big as yours, I think.
I don't know if we
No,
have.
I bet
we don't
yours
have
is
very
bigger.
much of a collection. I mean, we've
Oh,
only been
really?
working on it
Okay.
for
We
like a year.
probably only have like 75.
We do have this Virgin Suicides box set, dude.
Hell yeah.
We also have
I heard you mention it on like a previous podcast. Yes.
Oh, you listened to the
That's so
podcast?
cool. I did, like, honestly just recently before
Oh, wow.
you after you invited me. I was like, I better check out what this is. So
Yeah.
I know what I'm
I
agreeing
always
to.
I always do that too. I'm
Thank
like,
you.
okay, now what have I done? Gotta go check it out.
Like, yes. Okay, now what did I just say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, do they suck? I have to go check it out.
Well,
I
thank you.
heard of it like from you, like from following you, but like I just like I don't know, didn't have time to check it out, like having a baby and everything. So,
Oh, yeah.
like, but I'm really glad I did, and I'm
That makes
definitely
sense.
gonna keep
That makes
listening.
sense.
Or you
Yeah.
could have her listen to it and just raise her on our podcast. She'll know the history of death metal through it.
Yeah,
Yes.
she'll learn some words, some California isms.
A lot of fucks. She'll learn that really quick.
Oh wow, so she's gonna be like a Czech person.
Yeah, is she learning?
I always think about that.
She is a Czech citizen.
Yeah.
I am not. So she has a Czech passport, but I do not. So I just recently got permanent residency, which is a big deal. So like, at least like my living here is like solidified now, which before it wasn't. So like that's why I haven't been able to go back home during the COVID, because like I can go back home, but I'm not guaranteed to be able to come back. So now I just got permanent residency, so I'm like guaranteed to be able to live here now, which is great. But here you have to live here for 10 years before they'll give you citizenship. So like,
Whoa.
Prove that you're down.
Because in America, if you
It
marry
seems-
an American citizen, you automatically get citizenship, correct?
Yeah.
that's what I think, but is that true? I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
Like I think you get a green card, and then permanent residency and then citizenship. Like having my family have immigrants in it, like my stepmom and my sister married an Indian guy, and like he still has a green card. Like he could get citizenship, but he decided not to, because like when you get citizenship, you have to revoke your other citizenship.
Oh.
So like he didn't want to like get rid of his Indian citizenship, which is like fine. But when you have like when you have permanent residence, that's like just as good as citizenship. Basically, the only thing that you can't do is like vote, or like, you know, there's like a couple things, but like permanent residency is like good. Like you're good when you have that.
Well, so
Okay,
if you're
but back to the Czech doctor.
really quick before the Czech doctor. So if you have permanent residency in the Czech Republic, are you still do you vote as an American citizen?
So like a lot of people are like confused. They're like, are you Czech? Like, are you not American anymore? I'm like, I'm American. I'm just living here. Like,
Right.
Yeah. So like I am voting like in the elections. Like
I don't
from here.
know
like,
if I
Word.
could. I don't think I could give up being American.
I know.
I'm not trying to. I'm not about that.
I bet it would be much different if I had a child and I was like married to someone from a different country, but it would be.
You don't have to. Like you don't have to get. I don't have to. Like I can be American. Like and like I don't have to become a citizen here unless I want to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So like each country has its own rules. So maybe here they won't make me give up American to become Czech.
right.
Maybe
Okay.
you can be dual citizen.
Right.
Like you can have multiple citizenships. And my daughter has multiple citizenships because of her birth situation.
She
So,
doesn't.
wow.
She doesn't know how. She won't know how lucky she is to have that for a long time. But she's definitely lucky to be a
she's
dual
good.
citizen.
Like she can live at like a lot of places if she wants to. So like because I'm American, she's automatically got American citizenship. And like I got her a passport already and everything so that I can take her back home.
Okay.
She got a Czech citizenship automatically, and
That's
she can
amazing.
get Russian citizenship through my husband. My husband's a Russian citizen.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we just haven't applied for it yet, but she can get it through him. And because my father is Indian or was Indian, he had to like give up his citizenship. But because of my father being from India, she can also get an OCI card to India. Like,
Whoa. This kid is hooked
over-
up.
Yeah. So wait a
She could
minute.
live in
I'm
India,
wondering.
Russia, America, or Czech Republic.
And she's death metal. It's like, what? Holy crap.
Now I'm wondering if your husband can get something going over here in America since
Yeah.
you're American.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like we talk about it sometimes, like, hey, like maybe if things aren't so good here with the whole COVID thing, like if we have to, shut the bar down, God forbid, like maybe we just go to America and see what happens there, like
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna ask if you guys
Yeah.
ever think about coming over here to get some.
Yes. So it was a decision we made because like when we were together and we had to decide who was moving where, like it was 50-50. Like he was willing to go to America and I was willing to go to Czech Republic. But I was like, you know what? I feel like living in Europe. Like I was always interested in Europe and like I was ready for that adventure and that like new chapter. So like I decided like to go there, but he was willing to live in America. But now we have like so much here, like the bars and stuff. We're like,
Right.
we have a condo here and stuff. So like we're pretty grounded here, but like who knows what the future will be. We could possibly end up in the US in the future.
You can't get away from the U.S., I mean,
It's in me.
Yeah. It's just
I miss
ingrained.
home a lot, honestly.
I get it. I
It's
get
like,
it.
You don't realize what you have till it's gone. It's like so cliche, but it's true. And like, I miss, like, you can't replace family and you can't replace like good friends, like old friends.
It's
like,
so true.
it's just different.
I've learned that moving to California, even though it's much closer than the Czech Republic. But when I first moved here, I moved from Des Moines to LA. And Navene was touring full time in Animals as Leaders. So I was a lot of the time staying at home by myself. Or there was like an 8-week period where I was home by myself. And I just got so depressed. I've never missed being at home or any of that stuff as much as I did then. And I didn't think I would because I was in California. I was in Los Angeles, like the coolest place ever, But
yeah, lots of friendly people.
Yeah, lots of super friendly people. But it's just you don't really. It's cliche, but you don't really know what you have until it's gone, and
It's so true.
it's a thing that you have to get over when you move away from the place that you're from and away from your family. Luckily, I've lived here for 10 years now, so. And Navene's family is like my family as well.
I've never been so lucky to like get away from my family for that long. So looking forward to it one day.
So you don't know what we're talking about yet.
Yeah, you can't relate.
I want to be there. Wow, I really miss them, man. It'd be great to see them.
Mom, I want to move away so I can miss you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I want to never see you so that I'll appreciate you. Like, she'll understand.
They don't listen to this, so it's all good.
You're
Actually, my
right.
mom does listen to it.
Our moms listen to this
Yeah.
religiously. But okay, back to the doctor. No more interruptions. We want to know about it. What happened?
So like when I first moved here, like I needed to find a doctor. Like I had some like cold or something. I needed like antibiotics. No, wasn't it cold? I don't even remember now. But like I needed to find a doctor, and like I had like this really shitty private insurance because of like not having a job yet and like not being established here. Like I just signed up for some, foreigner insurance here, which like not many doctors take. So like I had to just like go to, like I had very few choices. So I just found some doctor, and like she was just like, at first she was friendly. She's like, oh, so like you're going to be here for a little while. Like you're from where? America? Oh, she's like, great. And then she's like, so how long do you plan to be here? And I was like, forever. And she's like, got very cold. Like, right away.
Whoa.
She's like, okay. She's like, and your husband, he's Czech? And I was like, no, he's Russian. She was like, okay.
Damn.
She just got, yeah, they
Super
really
weird.
don't like Russians here.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Because of the whole tanks and Wenceslas Square thing.
Right.
Yeah. And it's
I
like,
don't know if you know
trust
what
me,
I'm
my
talking about,
husband
but
wasn't
yes.
a part of that. Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't have
He
anything
did
to do
not.
with it. So
I know, like that was a long time ago, and like so I was like, oh gosh, she hates me. Just like,
So
yeah.
basically, if you move
And
to the
she's
Czech Republic,
she's like,
don't tell them that
Wait.
you're from somewhere else.
don't tell them that, or that
you're
you can
gonna
tell
stay
them you're
there.
from somewhere else. Like they like Americans in general, but don't tell them that you plan to live in Czech Republic forever, because then they feel like you're taking their country away from them.
It's a good
like,
tip.
they took our jobs, like they took our country.
Good tip. Yeah, I don't see. I'm not that type of person. Like, I don't really get that, because to me, like, thinking of it scientifically or whatever, it's like it's just a piece of land. Like, it doesn't matter at all. Like, I'm American or whatever, but that's just made up, you know. So I don't really
But
get.
I think we think that way because America is so freaking huge.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Vast.
Yeah.
There's more than enough land to go around, and like there's just vast areas of land where nobody lives. And I think that's why we have the luxury of thinking that way and welcoming people. And here, like, it's just like everything is established and there's not much to go around. I think that's why they think that way, to be fair to them. But I still think racist attitudes are shitty, and like it sucks to feel that way.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, for me, in terms of like like inherited culture or whatever, like for me, like my dad is like Jewish, you know, by birth or whatever. And it's like, I don't have any connection to that, like, whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I feel more Indian than that. But it's like, I'm not born of that line or whatever, but what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Like race is one thing, like ethnicity is one thing, and then culture is another thing, and like they can go together or not. And it's like you are all of those things.
Yeah. So I mean,
like,
it's like, why make the distinction? I don't know. I don't really understand it personally. For me, like for me personally, I don't have any pride in like what I was born as or whatever, because I didn't have any. Like, I had no choice in that. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, I showed up here and.
I'm the same way. I mean, I'm half Italian.
Yeah, I'm not.
But I don't associate with being Italian whatsoever. A part of it is because I wasn't raised around my Italian
maybe if
family.
I was, that's the thing. Maybe if I was raised more in the Jewish culture, I would feel that way. But I just don't at all.
Yeah.
So.
Do you feel half Indian?
Yeah, I do, and it's weird. Like, I feel half Indian. I feel half like British American, like. Or just like American. I'm like all American, but I do have this Indian part of me, but I don't feel completely one or the other. And it's weird. It's like, but I don't have to be one or the other. Like, I can be all of it. Like, I've learned over the years, you know, and it's like, but it is a weird feeling, like going to India and like not feeling like I fit in there, and like people calling me little white girl.
Yeah.
and then being an American, everyone like thinking I'm weird and brown. Like, where are you from? What are you? Like, I get that question, what are you? And I'm like, I'm American. I'm a girl. Like, what is this question?
What are you
like,
asking?
What are you? Yeah. So
that's
being mixed culture. It's weird. It's like, you fit in like in everywhere and nowhere at the same time, and that's okay. Like, you learn to just like accept it. Like, Bob Marley actually was like half white and half black, and like he just like embraced like being that. Yeah,
totally. So how did you get into like brutal death metal in the first place? What drew you into it?
So are you asking me this question?
I have to ask.
I thought we talked about this.
I know we did, but you know, for me, it's like, because I'm a woman, I got really into metal when I was a kid, and I got into it one way. And there are very few of us. Like, even though there have been more and more the older that I get, there still are few of us who are into, especially the more extreme parts of metal, which is really like, you are into, I would say, even more brutal metal than I am. Like, Abnormality is a very brutal band, but I was listening to Nidorous. Am I saying that correctly? Which is to me even more brutal than Abnormality, like way more brutal. So what drew you to that as opposed to, like, you know, there's mainstream metal and there's super fucking underground metal. How did you just start getting into it when you were a kid?
It wasn't just like one thing or the other. It's like a progression, you know, multiple things, like just going to crazy amount of shows, like as a young person, like starting from high school, like just falling in love with music and going to lots of shows. And like the first things I heard was like radio metal, you know, and then like, you know, going deeper and like meeting other, like, you know, meeting people in bands and hearing about more bands and like just diving deep into that. And it was like, you know, I had a friend in high school that was in a death metal band, and that's the first time I heard about death metal. And like, you know, I was given a few like mixtapes, you know, and like, or like CDs, you know, and like okay, this is called Deicide. Okay, I can. Wow, he really hates Jesus. Wow.
Me too. Fuck yeah.
That'd be my first impression. I'm like, okay, like, you know, that's his thing, you know. So like it was just like a slow progression. Like I wasn't like at first like all about brutal death metal, but it was like I liked the screaming thing. I liked heavy music. It vibed well with me. Like I had a lot of like angst, like, you know, anger as like a teenager, and like it just like helped me feel good to listen to angry music. And like I listened to a lot of different things, like not only metal, but like, you know, like grunge and like, you know, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, like Rage Against the Machine, the Deftones. Like I started with that kind of mainstream stuff, and then just was like, what's heavier than this, you know, just like on this journey, like what is like more extreme this. And like I'm like your guys' generation, like actually even older than both of you, like, so there was no like internet, like it was just the very beginnings of the internet. You couldn't like find bands that way, so like it was just through meeting people, you know. It's like, hey, check this band out, it's so heavy, you know, like me and my friends, like that's how I first heard of bands. And then in college there was like a kid in my college that was in a death metal band, and like so like I heard that, and he told me about this metal forum. Return to the Pit.
Return to the Pit is still kicking now. Totally.
So that's then how I discovered like even more bands, and like the local scene in Boston, which is actually a super like super rich metal scene was back in the day. Like so many shows and so much talent coming out of Boston, like, and like besides of like the hardcore scene and then the metalcore scene, and like that there was like a lot of death metal too. And so like all of that like live music exposure, and like I lived down the street from the Middle East in Cambridge, and I used to just like randomly go to shows, not even knowing what was playing. I would just like go there like with my roommate and check music out. So
we
that's
played
like
there.
How it started.
Animosity played there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of with who. I don't know. Do you know the Red Chord?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were on Guy's label.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of have a little
What
tie
years
back.
were you in the band?
What year?
What years were you
All
active with them?
right. Let's see here. It would have been 2001 to 2008.
Yeah, awesome. Like that's like 2001. I was like in college and like going to live shows a lot. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
So that was back in the day, right there.
Which what I really wanted to get to is like, because you are a little older than us, and something that we talk about a lot is the way that the internet has changed the way that you be in a band. Do you feel like you like moved along with that change, or that like where do you feel like you stand on the internet thing?
So like I listened to your last podcast, I think, where you really talked about this a lot, and like the last episode, and like I thought it was pretty inspirational, like what you had to say. Actually, I was like, yeah, like you guys get it. Yeah, I feel like a little bit. I was kind of like, you know, with the Abnormality days. So like I didn't even talk about this yet, but Abnormality split up now recently. But like when Abnormality was, you know, very active, like I was the one running the social media, like me alone. So like I really
that's the hardest part to be in the band. It's so hard. Like we, in the early days of Entheos, we were trying to have everyone like have a week where they were the person on the internet. And it's like really hard to get that many people to run to run things on the internet. And then when it's up to one person, because I would be the most like internet type person in my band, it's really hard to be that person as well. It's like
it's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job.
Like, but there's like so much, there was at least, I mean, even now there's so much opportunity with it. Like you can reach so many people now that it was a lot harder to before. So like, yeah, there's like good, a lot of benefits and like some downsides, like that, you know, it's great that your fans can reach you anytime, but it's also a downside that your fans can like reach you anytime.
Yeah.
in that, not to be a hater or something, in that, like, I feel like some fans don't really appreciate it, because like it used to be like, for us as music fans growing up, we used to be so psyched to like meet our favorite musicians.
I know.
Or like write them a letter or something.
You could never back in our day hit up someone whose music you really enjoyed and just send them a message on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like, hey, pay attention to me. Can I get a lesson from you?
Dude, nor
and
would
then
I.
ask them super
Nor would I.
like prying questions, like some of the questions that we will get. It's like, I couldn't do this when I was a kid, and I'm glad that I couldn't do it, because I would have made an ass out of myself when I was 16, like messaging random fucking people.
Dude, I remember when I was a kid, like I was like 15, 16, the guitar player of Origin like worked at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
And I was like,
cool.
I'm not I'm not even going to say anything to that guy. I don't want to look like an idiot. Dude, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, I'd just act like I didn't know who he was. Like, I was so afraid of looking stupid. Like, I wouldn't even take the risk.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
You should have. I bet he would have been cool to you, the fact that you recognized him and everything.
No, actually,
but when you're a kid, you don't realize that like the guy from Origin isn't in a fucking huge. He's not a huge rock star.
Yeah, no. To me,
and
it
he'd
was
be
like
down, because I would have been like when I saw when I saw Origin with Freight Train, I never would have talked to him.
hell no.
Because
No
I
way.
was like, this guy's a rock star. He doesn't care what I have to say. Like, I'm not.
I mean, eventually we did become friends and stuff, and like, you know,
Okay, good. You
like-
mustered up the courage at some point.
actually, no.
With age
actually,
comes courage.
That's not actually what happened. It was just like I was in Animosity, and we became kind of like a bigger local band, and then he like knew who I was, so I was like, yeah, all right, what's up, dude? You know,
You're
So
on
then
the
it's like-
level.
Yeah,
you're
like-
on the same level. Like, that's
Exactly.
like, it makes it easier.
yeah. I mean, that sounds corny, but I was like horrified of looking stupid, straight up.
Me too.
Like, but these people these days that know they're not
Don't
concerned
care.
with that
Don't.
at all.
Not afraid. Not afraid.
No.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me being
I
like
think-
too paranoid.
What I don't like is like the entitlement, I guess, like, or just the message that don't have any effort, like, hey, and that's the whole message.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like, hi.
Hi. What
And
would
then
you
the
like?
next message.
Yeah, no.
Like,
no, I'm not getting it.
are you Indian? Your name is Indian. It's like, those are the questions.
What's also interesting is that people will assume a lot of things about you, and I will write back to people, like I'll say, hey, what's up? But then if people, they'll just start assuming things, and I don't. It's just like, okay, so if Navene or if I post about something, someone will just read into that to like the nth degree, and it's like they assume they assume things about your personality or about who you are or what you're learning, and they like state it, and that is always really weird to me. It's like
State it? What do
it's
you
like they'll state it. For
how?
instance, okay,
They make up a story about you in their mind, and then they tell you about it.
Exactly.
Oh, that's like crazy.
precisely.
Yeah.
And it's like, I am not any of these things that you just said to me, but it's cool that you inferred that off of like my one post that I made off of.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's just how it is, though. You know, it's just like, okay, cool. That's what you got out of it.
That's
guess.
Okay, so like I hope we're not like, you know, making people hate us by this talk, but like to our
We're not.
We're not.
listening,
In the last episode, we straight up
love
were
it.
like just shit
In the last
talking whole
episode, we
fucking time.
talked about how we couldn't be reactors on YouTube because we are
I
haters.
know.
So it's like,
And that's like our
heard
most
that.
viewed episode, so it's good. We're good to go.
yeah, I think we're okay.
Wait, you know what? I think people like haters. They like vicious honesty. Like they like ruthless
Also,
honesty.
like myself included, and I'm sure everybody agrees, like when people are letting the hate, you're like, well, it's not about me. You know, they're not talking about me.
Yeah, I never
They're
think
talking
anyone's
about like
talking
people
about
who
me.
suck, other people. You
I
know?
also-
So
I
most
also-
everyone thinks that.
Yeah. I also like hearing about that because it's like, oh, there's like a reality to this whole thing. It's not all butterflies and rainbows. Like
Yeah, of
everyone's
course.
not a hater. Also, we listen to death metal. I don't know if people out there know, but most people who listen to death metal are we're
There's some
kind of
hate.
haters.
There's some
like
hate in your heart when
we
you listen to
hate
death
on
metal.
some shit. You know, we're like,
It's born from hate. It's born from hate because it's like
opinionated.
Yeah.
Like we have very specific tastes. That's how you should.
If we were not haters, we would only care about radio metal.
yeah. I mean, dude, when I was like 15 or
Or
whatever, and
radio
I'm
music.
listening to Dying Fetus, and it's like I'm hearing all this shit on the radio and stuff. It's like you motherfuckers have no fucking clue.
I know it's
dude.
like
you know?
y'all don't even know about riffs.
Yeah, I think we all remember the moment we heard Dying Fetus and we're like, holy shit,
Oh,
this is like
dude.
the heaviest thing I've
Yeah,
ever
it's
heard
like
in my
that's-
life, and nothing will sound heavier compared to this.
Dude,
Like,
I straight up bought Destroy the Opposition, like it was what you're saying, no internet type stuff. I was like, I just bought it because it was on Relapse. I was like,
Oh, cool.
I went to
Yeah.
the record store and I was like, that's on Relapse. The cover looks pretty cool. I'm going to buy this.
Yeah.
And then I was just
I
like,
used to do that too, like buy stuff based on the album covers. Yeah, like this looks heavy. Like Annihilation of the Wicked. I was like,
Totally.
this looks
Oh yeah.
awesome, and it was awesome. Like cool.
Yeah.
We were before this podcast. We were watching that video of you playing Obscene Extreme, pregnant.
Oh
Yeah.
And we
That's
were
legit.
like, we were like, the only thing that would have made this better because your drummer was smoking a fucking cigarette the entire
I was like, that
set.
is so
And
fucking
we were like,
sick.
they got a pregnant woman. They got the cigarette smoking guy on drums. But if you would have worn a Dying Fetus shirt, it would have just come.
Oh, that's too on the nose. That's too on the nose.
It would have been too much of a joke at that point. Yeah, it is. It is like, yeah, it's interesting, and that's Jay's signature thing. It's not just for the show. He does that at band practices, like constantly
Okay.
a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Like
Dude,
that's his.
I was
That's
like,
amazing. That's
I was
a
like,
feat.
Chaney, I think the drummer's fucking smoking a cig, dude.
We couldn't tell. It took a minute. Yeah. It was amazing. Was
that's Jay.
Was it scary for you playing a show being pregnant?
It was scarier for my husband. He was like,
That
what I
is,
said. I was
that
like,
is
dude, I'd have
so
been, like,
funny
on
because
fucking guard,
Navene
dude.
was like, I would have like, dude, I would have been concerned. Like, what's going on with my baby? Like,
Because a
side
bunch of
stage,
people
and I
were
was
getting
like,
up on stage.
I
dude.
know. I was like, I'm pretty sure that Serge is side stage right now watching her. Like, and I saw him off in the
insisted,
corner. Yeah, totally.
No, he insisted on being like very close to me in case like anyone got too close or whatever. But it was totally fine. I was actually really chill and like easier than I thought it would be.
It didn't
I was
look
like
chill.
a little bit worried about like how well I'd be able to breathe.
That's
I was,
exactly what I was
6
wondering.
months pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, but actually it was like cool. Like I was doing, it felt normal, like pretty much.
Dude, you
Yeah.
fucking killed it. It was like you were on
thanks.
point as hell. We were like, oh my God, she's fucking killing it right now.
Yeah, brutal. Super brutal.
Yeah, like I also like I didn't get to practice before that show because like the guys just flew in and we had to play right away. Like we didn't even
damn.
get one practice. So like I hadn't seen them for more than 6 months.
So you just ripped it,
So-
just went on stage dry.
I was like a little iffy on it. I was like, I hope this is gonna sound good. But it all worked out. Yeah.
Oh, it killed.
I guess like when you've played together with the same people for years, it's just like second nature. It doesn't matter how long you've been apart. As long as you've been like practicing on your own to keep your skills tight or whatever. So like, yeah, I
Totally.
was just like, I was doing vocals at home, like, you know, to the CDs and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, circling back to the internet, that to me has been one of the better parts of it is that everyone can kind of practice on their own. I mean, this isn't even internet based. It's like everyone just practices on their own and you can kind of like chat to each other. The internet has had its good things. You can write music back and forth, which is that how you guys wrote your last album, Sociopathic Construct?
It was the first time that we did that. So like up until the last Abnormality album, like everything was written in the same room, like together. Like we all lived locally. We all practiced together like 2 to 3 times a week. Like that was like our, and like I was there every practice, like, you know, and
Old
so
school.
this was the first time like doing this like from a distance. Yeah, like there's some like energy you get by being all together, you know, like,
Absolutely.
and being on the same page. It is a good thing, but like when you can't, like the internet is great for that. And like we made it work. Like the guys still practiced, you know, together without me, and then I just like watched videos that they sent me like with the music and like, you know, worked on lyrics from here and like worked on the patterns, and like I would Skype call like the drummer and be like, you know, go over patterns with him, and like that's how we did it. And I went into the studio here and like just, you know, did the best I could, and yeah, it worked. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, what
it's
studio
possible,
did you go to?
Studio Hostivash. It's a pretty well-known one here, like right outside of Prague.
Is it that guy? There's the band that's from there, the gent band, something Babylon.
Modern day Babylon.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You know them?
I could ask my husband.
Yeah, ask him real quick.
What's this tech death band Babylon? Something from here? Do you know?
Modern day Babylon, dude.
Modern day Babylon. Do you know what that is?
Modern day Babylon, but they're like gent.
They're gent.
Yeah, gent band.
Yeah.
Yeah, gent band.
Yeah,
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows about
Dude,
it.
I probably recorded there.
Okay, they that dude has a studio, and they're super cool. Like they,
okay.
Let's see. I played a show there, like with some other project that I was doing, and I was selling my own merch, and like the dudes rolled out and they were just talking to me, and like we fucking kicked it like all night, and we were just getting trashed, and they were hella cool. And sometimes I talk to the guy online, but he's got like a super sick studio.
Oh, cool. So it's like a different studio. Yeah. What's the
I don't
name
really know
of it? It was just like it's just this guy's place.
Oh, I'll check it out real quick. Actually, I got the internet right here.
Okay.
Is
cool.
there a scene in the Czech Republic or in Prague? Is there like a big metal scene?
There's a scene, but it's not the same as Boston. Like that's one thing I miss about Boston. Although it's probably not the same as as I remember now. Because of the new generation. I don't think it's the same as my generation was. Like, I don't think there's the same tight knit thing with all the bands in Boston now.
Well, Boston is also Berkeley. You know, so it's a lot of like music. Yeah, so it's like those people aren't necessarily always into like super brutal metal. I feel like they go for more progressive. So it's like an interesting scene because I've been at the bar. I think it was the first time I met you at we were opening for the Contortionist, and I was at the bar at that venue. Hall. Yeah, and some like Berkeley people were asking me a lot of music theory questions that I like had no idea about, and it's like, dude, I have no fucking idea.
All right, his studio is called Babylon Studios. On the nose.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, like the band's name. Okay, yeah, good to know. Like as another place to record, possibly. So like I'm about to do some recording for like one of my other bands, Castrator. So like sick. I do need to like book some studio time. There you go.
Coming Boom. Up, I'm hooking, I'm linking up people worldwide, dude. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's fucking so sick. Friends. That is the best thing about music, man. Like I'm like, oh, cool. You're in Prague. I met these guys there. They have a you know what I mean? That's fucking crazy, dude. I never would have thought that would happen.
It is cool.
That's like seriously the best thing.
Metal people are family, like everywhere.
Yeah,
it doesn't
so
matter like,
awesome.
what country, what language. Like it's something that brings us all together. It's like a common language is the music. It's really cool.
It's very true.
I seriously love it. And even in like phases where I'm like not even into metal in my life, it's like it's kind of like what you're saying about like the American thing. It's like I am just metal. That's like my thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I could just cultural identity.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I could go not listen to metal for 5 years and I'm still metal. Like that's just how it is, dude.
Totally.
And you could drop me in any part of the planet, maybe not any part, but populated area on the planet, and it's like I want to meet someone there, dude.
Totally.
You know? Like that's just
like
so cool. You know, it's such
it's like it's so true. And like you go to like some random place where you don't know anyone, and you like can connect with people just like over music like instantly, like that. So like that happened to me like. When I was in college, I studied abroad in Spain. That was my first time like really spending any time in Europe. And I was going to art school there. I went to art school, by the way. And so I was studying art in Barcelona. And like I was just in this animation class, and there was a guy with a Death shirt, or I think it was Death, or it must have been Death. I can't think of what else it would be. Yeah, and I was like, hey, nice shirt, man. Like, you like metal? Like, and we just like started talking, and like, and so like this guy ended up having a band, and like I went and watched the band practice like a couple days later, and like ended up joining the band. That was like my first band experience, like when I was like 21.
Yeah.
And the band wasn't very good, but it was a starting point, and like I definitely got the music fever after that. Like this is something I really wanted to do. Like prior to that, I was like a fan of metal and like, you know, singing along in the car kind of thing, you know, but like I didn't know that I was gonna like cross over into being like a serious vocalist, and that's like how it started. But like this whole like global metal thing like ties in, that story
amazing.
ties in with that.
It's freaking amazing. And like you can also relate to this. I mean, you met your husband through metal, right?
And now you're in a
But now
band.
they're-
Now you own a label with him
made a
and are in a
person.
band with him.
Made
a person.
another person because of metal.
Yeah,
Just saying. That's
I know.
fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like
It's-
this. Everybody
it's
in
a global metal love story. It really is.
Yeah.
It's
I like-
crazy.
every single person in my life is because of metal.
Same.
Like that I'm not related to.
Same.
Yeah.
Like literally every person.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's like such a huge part of our lives, like for real. And like I'm so like grateful for that. Like I wouldn't change a thing. Like even if like none of the music projects I like have like succeeded or like they all, you know, ended today, like I'd be grateful for all the friendships and relationships my husband that I've met and known through music. And like
That's what's
it's
up.
so cool. And the fans and everything, you know, the people you meet on the road, it's like it's so cool. Like there's like really no other way you would have met people and like gotten tours of random cities or countries,
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
like
So true.
besides of being on tour. It's so cool.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Well, damn. That's what's up right there.
So eugenics doctor, I didn't finish the story.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Let's get back to it.
I'm just gonna keep it a recurring thing. So like the next question she asked is like, are you having kids? And I was like, yes, we plan to. And she was like, quiet again, writing on her notepad.
It's like, oh God.
Jesus Christ, like really?
She wrote it.
And then,
They're
like,
having
I
a
was like,
baby.
so
Watch
yeah,
for
and I
them.
was like, so like, you know, I'm new here and I'm gonna need like a gynecologist and stuff. Like, can you refer me to someone? She's like, no, I can't do that.
What?
And I was like, I know. I was
What?
like, what do you mean you can't do that?
That's
Eugenicist
crazy.
doctor. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I've never had any experience like that in my life, and like American can be racist as fuck sometimes, but like not like that, not to
I
that
know.
degree.
Just
Yeah.
overt. So does she have your address? I hope not.
Hopefully it's an old address.
It's an old address,
All
yeah,
right.
and
Phew.
like yeah, I switched doctors soon after that, but yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
I was just like, wow, cold.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
cold.
can't believe that.
Pretty cold. That's pretty cold.
Yeah.
That's pretty cold. Yeah, I remember. Actually, this is totally off topic, but I've been thinking about this
Yes.
the whole time. Now I'm sure my old band Animosity played a fest in Prague, and it was like this little like kind of janky fest.
Which one?
I can't remember what
one?
it's called, but the
It was
thing
like
that
a 1 year kind of thing. It
I don't know.
wasn't,
I
like,
don't.
a
I
big
honestly
fest.
don't know. I'll have to look into it because I'm not the type
Mm-hmm.
of person who remembers like venues and stuff. It's
Yeah, I
like
know,
I'm
you
like
don't.
terrible with it. It's really bad. But
Yeah, but like to get back to the other conversation, like Czech Republic has a lot of festivals.
Yeah.
like, and that's like really cool.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the best part about the metal scene here is like the festivals and like
Oh yeah.
the biggest ones for like our kind of music is like Brutal Assault and Obscene Extreme.
yeah, it wasn't.
But
that,
in
but I
terms of like the
remember that.
local scene, it's not as strong as like where I come from, like Boston. It's just like, you know, small local shows, but like they're not like, you know, hit or miss. Some do well and some don't. And like, it doesn't seem like that much camaraderie between the fans and the bands, like as I saw in Boston. It's like not like really a unified scene.
Yeah. Well, but has it
That's
all?
what I feel.
Has it always been that like that? I wonder, or is it more? Like kind of feel like scenes are more like that in the U.S. now because of the internet. So I wonder if the Czech scene has just never really been super strong on a local level, or if the internet has like made.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you know now
I
kids.
think
Go ahead.
Well, I think it's maybe part of the reason it's the way it is because of the whole festival circuit, because like everyone's saving their vacation time to go to all the festivals, like,
Yeah.
or like they pick which festivals they're going to go to, and they're saving all their money and like, you know, really planning on that, where they don't care as much about like the regular shows as much. I
Got
don't
it.
know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is like in Czech Republic, are we talking about a population of people who are generally like middle class or poor or rich, or what's the?
demographics?
Well,
I'm gonna look it
I
up for you.
think more like middle class. Yeah, like there are rich people and there are poor people, but I think it's like more middle class. But like the general feeling of wealth is less than like U.S. Like the U.S. would be seen, Americans would be seen as more like rich people compared to Czechs. Like the average salary is a lot lower, but the cost of living is also really low.
Yeah.
Oh, is
So
it?
like
Okay, that's cool.
yeah, like you can make like $5 an hour here and do okay.
Whoa.
You know.
That's what I'm talking
Which
about.
is like
insane.
I think is like the average salary here is like $5 or like
Holy
like
shit.
minimum wage or whatever.
You know, I have
but,
to
like,
admit, when we were in Czech Republic, the currency was very hard for me to figure out. Well, first of all, it was just hard for me to figure out like a new currency every single day on a European tour because I was doing our merch.
Yeah.
I ended up in Prague selling our merch for such a low price that I lost us money that day because I thought that I was.
Oh no.
Yeah, because it was horrible.
Because 100 crowns sounds like a lot, like $100,
Yeah.
but it's actually $4.
Yeah. So I think I was charging like 200 for our shirts, which I was like, this is a shitload of money. 200. What are they called?
Crones.
Crowns.
Kroners.
Crowns.
Karuna in Czech language, but it means crown.
Okay.
All right, dude,
So I was
I just
charging 200 crowns, so $8 per shirt, and I was like,
just-
"We're making 200 crowns. We're doing really well." Like,
This just reminded me of a story, dude.
hilarious.
Okay, I can't believe I didn't think of this till now. The first time I went to Prague, I found like a huge stack of money.
whoa.
Yeah, total Navene style, dude. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just looking around. I'm always I always
Who
like
has
look.
that kind of luck?
I always just
Navene
like
does.
look for shit. Like I'm always constantly. I'm like when I go somewhere, I look like just for stuff like that's floating around. You know, like at the end of the night in the venue, I'll kind of like do a little sweep, see if there's any money on the ground or anything.
Okay.
And we went to that bridge that you're talking about, right, for the first time.
Charles Bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I was like, dude, that's a pile of money, like in the sidewalk, and I just like real stealth went through and picked it up and put it in my pocket, and it was like $300, like American.
But it was a huge.
But it was like,
stack.
yeah, because it was like, I don't know, it was like whatever, however many thousand karunas or whatever. And
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I went back and I was like, you guys, I just found a huge stack of money, man.
That is totally something.
I've
you
never heard anyone say that. Like that's like really crazy.
Dude, that's the only thing that happened.
Really?
To me. Yeah, and that was the first time I went to Prague. Yeah, it was sick.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I was like, this is great.
It sounds like money out of thin air, but really the other side of that story is some drunk American tourist was really wasted and like
Hey, man.
dropped
Has to be an
everything on
American.
the street.
His loss.
Navene's game.
Yeah, Navene's game,
His
man.
loss, dude. You know what I mean? I love finding shit is the best. That's like one of my favorite things to do.
Oh, yeah, love it.
Yeah.
But you do it a lot. Navene has a knack. He found my desk. It's like what are these
What?
called?
It's like a drafting
It's
table.
a drafting table,
Oh,
and he
artist
found
table,
it.
yeah,
He
yeah.
found it on the side of the street. He does stuff like
Yeah,
that
I'll
all
like
the time.
pull over like the desk chair that I have. I have a really nice desk chair. This is like I was just driving around in San Francisco and I like saw it next to a dumpster, but the base was all fucked up. But I was like, I'm gonna take it anyway, and I had two of them, really nice chairs, and then you just knock the base off and put a different one on there, and then boom, I had
it
like
worked?
these fucking legit.
Wow.
What's the
chairs.
what's the
Anyway, sorry,
what's the
that's
scavenger game like
random.
in Prague? Is there good scavenging?
Good if you're me.
You have to be somebody that's always looking.
Yeah.
I can't say that I've really observed it, but I've noticed there's a lot more buy-sell thing, like selling your used things, like a Craigslist style, like way of living. Like people do that.
I like it.
And my husband's really into this. Like we don't just get rid of things, we sell them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Like, he's really good at selling useless things and like making money. I'm like, that thing is garbage. You're never going to make money from it. Can we just throw it away? He's like, no, I'm going to sell it. And then he comes back and he's like, I made $20. Like, what?
Dude,
Damn.
that $20, dude, that's up.
That's exactly how Navene is, because his mom buys and sells things for a living. But for
Yeah.
me, like my parents would always, if the toaster broke, we're getting rid of it
Yeah,
and we're
just throw
going
it
and
out,
and we're
But I
going to
think
get a new
that-
one.
That way is, but Navene's way, my husband's way, Serge, his way is much better.
I
'cause,
agree.
Like, it's less landfill and more reuse,
All right.
more upcycling.
It's
you know,
it's less
good.
money spent as well.
Okay, right
because I'll
now-
just spend money on new shit all the time.
Right now, I have 4 dining chairs in my van that I
Yeah.
got.
See?
I picked up.
See, no, he does. He has done.
I didn't even tell her yet. I've got 4 dining chairs in the van, and I'm gonna sell them on Craigslist for $20 each. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get $80.
See, I'm telling you, the scavenger game.
I picked them up
It's
the other
not even
day.
for you. It's to sell.
No, I just picked them up. I was like, okay, those are. I was working, and someone was like, hey, do you want these dining chairs? I'm like, yeah, for sure. Give me them. And then I'm gonna throw them on Craigslist. Like,
you attract like used things,
Yeah.
like
that's
a
my
motherfucker.
thing. I don't know.
All right, so Mallika, before we go, what's
There's a
it?
quote here, yeah.
What's it like being a woman in a band? I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. I was gonna be
I'm totally kidding.
Actually, there is an episode where I did ask Chaney that.
Navene said something. You can see my face get blistering red, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, you motherfucker."
We should
Like,
probably figure out which
know.
episode that is, because I was like, all right, I'm gonna go there. You know,
What's
because
your-
it was like, I don't know, 20
We
something
we
episodes.
can
in.
turn this into a drinking game somehow. I'm sure about it. But like seriously, like every other interview is that, or yeah.
I have a
It's like-
drinking game for the
the thing
podcast.
is
It's like when
that-
somebody says something, I take a drink. That's how
When
my
someone
drinking game
talks,
works.
it's
Yeah,
a drink.
on the podcast.
The what's it like being a
like
woman
it.
in a band question always gets me because I'm like, well, dude, I have no idea what it's like to be a guy in a band. So
Right,
it's a
right.
very
Well,
strange.
It's true. Like I've figured out over the years the perfect response to it, and I haven't had the chance to use it. Is like, what's it like to be a male interviewer in metal?
Yeah, it's like
That's the perfect response to that question.
it's
Yeah.
like it
make them
means
think about
it means zilch. It doesn't.
know.
It doesn't. There's no like what's it. It's like I don't know, dude. I'm just a person existing
Yeah,
in this
I just-
world, and I happen to have a vagina, and I really like metal.
Yeah.
So I don't. There's nowhere to go with
my
the
vagina
question.
doesn't really get in the way of my metal
Yeah.
making.
I know,
It really does. It's not big enough.
Exactly, and that's like honestly what I was saying earlier. It's like, dude, it just doesn't matter. Like all these things, we take them on by choice, right? You know, you just do it voluntarily.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're not like born metal, you know, or maybe you are. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like,
I don't know. You might
choose
kind
to-
of be.
Yeah.
You know,
But
there
what I'm- yeah,
there
what I'm-
is a part of me though that feels like I was always destined to be metal.
That's true. Yeah, me too.
Like
for
I
sure.
couldn't
Yeah.
I couldn't have
Yeah.
lived
For
without the metal part of me.
Okay, well, let's go with that.
That
Let's go with that.
honestly is a better question. What's it like to be metal? You know,
Yeah,
It's
exactly. Take the gender out of it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? Or like, what would you do if you didn't have metal in your life? Like that would be an interesting question.
well.
you
So
know?
what would
Like,
you do if
don't
you
know.
didn't? What would Mallika's life be like if you did not have metal in it?
You can't even go there because you know.
I mean, you wouldn't have your daughter. I'm sorry, I'm naming things for you now, but it's like your daughter is born out of metal. Your marriage is out of metal. Your band. How much of your life has that
I
dictated?
know. It would just be like an alternate universe with like a different me, you know, living a different life with a different spouse, you know, it's just, or not having a spouse, you know, it just would be like, you know, the movies you watch where like you enter a different dimension or reality
Yeah.
and it's like living a totally, completely different life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like some things like that seem like arbitrary, like decisions early in life end up having huge consequences, like totally changing your direction in life. Like deciding where to go study, like in college. Like I've for a long time thought I was going to San Francisco.
Oh wow.
And like I had even like put a down payment on like a school there, and then I got like a scholarship to go to a school in Boston. So that's like why I ended up staying in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to go somewhere else and like have that experience in like in a different city. And I wonder sometimes like, wow, like if I went to a completely different college, like how different would my life be now? Like
Totally.
you know.
You would have been going to the pound.
but I
dude.
think of things like
Checking out
that.
Animosity.
Yeah, you would have been.
Yeah.
But I think about that type of thing to me makes me question the idea of free will a lot because
Right,
the
yeah.
older that I get, the more I see how decisions I made in my life made me the person that I am and led down a much deeper path than I would have imagined them leading down in the first place. And I think that's when it's like, well, I wonder if we do have free will or if we don't, because it's like none of that stuff. Or now looking back on my life, it seemed like I made all of these decisions for a greater purpose, but I never would have known in the first place that that's exactly why it happened.
Or like if you believe in the whole multiverse thing and multiple realities, like in in multiple realities, you've made different decisions and you've lived different lives, and like they all concurrently happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So like nothing is a mistake, and everything, matters or something. And like you can kind of like, it's fun to think about that, like,
Totally.
whole sci-fi plot themes here. But yeah, I mean, you can drive yourself crazy being like, what if, but like,
oh yeah.
Well, really at the base of it though,
cool
like,
to be appreciative of like everything you do have, like from what you got. But it's crazy. Yeah. Like how I just randomly met my husband, like at a show where I didn't think would have life-changing consequences.
Right.
And like you meeting Navene probably also.
Oh yeah.
Like going to a show.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you can.
She played the show.
Yeah, I played the show. I opened the show. I mean, I'm sure you can relate. It's like now you and Serge are in a band together. You own a fucking record label together. You help him run the bar, whether or not, he's, and Navene and I started a band together and we do this together now.
Podcast, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like all of this stuff that I never, ever would have planned on upon our first meeting. But somehow it all just blossoms out of that one interaction.
Yep.
And like maybe time is not linear. Maybe like the end result was what was meant to be, and everything else leading up to it was like
totally. That's
it was always going to end up this way. Even if you made one different decision, it would have come back around and it would have had the same end result or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like a choose your own adventure.
That's honestly, to bring it back to like the Vedic thing. That's what I love so much about the Vedic thought is that like it's all like one of the things is that it all exists in like a seed form, and it's like it's already there, and I don't know, it's kind of hard not to believe that for me personally, but
especially like just having had some really crazy life experiences, like we've had like deep experiences, and meeting your love through a love for music and things like that. It's hard to not think that there's some deeper meanings there.
It's hard.
It really is.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to not think that. It's like, I don't know. It's hard for me to believe like there's not something else going on. I don't know. That's where I'm at.
I totally agree.
I don't know. Anyway.
I'm with you guys.
Oh yeah. But yeah, we're nearing on 2 hours. Thank you so much, Mallika, for taking time out of your day to hang with us. It really means a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
totally.
Like we barely talked about music, actually.
I see. That's what I was telling you. That's what I was telling you. It's like we barely ever get to music. So I mean, so Abnormality, no longer a band, which.
But it seems like you're still going strong with your other projects, Castrator and
Nidorous, which is with Serge.
Actually. It is a real word.
Wait, so Serge, I thought that he was a vocalist as well. Is that?
Yeah, he was a vocalist in a band in Russia called Flesh Bomb. That was like his first big band. So yeah, it's like Nidorous was something we started to do when I was like missing band practices for being so far from like the Abnormality guys. So like we just started like jamming, and it was really casual how it started, and like we did a demo and then like got a record deal, and we're like taking it more seriously now. Yeah, it's just like we did it for fun and like to do something brutal together, and like we're making something of it now. We'll see where it goes. Like people seem to like it, which is cool. Like,
hell yeah.
We just did music that we wanted to hear, like that we thought was cool, and
that's how you got.
We were jamming it before this podcast, dude. That snare on the recording, I'm loving that shit. It's got its own note value. It's like pop, pop. It's like the most poppy sick snare of all time. I love it.
Yeah, this drummer Milan, who's really unique. Yeah.
So you guys, it's a band in, I don't know how to say the name of the country now, but formerly Czech Republic.
Czechia. It's very.
So you guys jam and stuff there locally. That's pretty sick.
We haven't played any shows yet, though. We're still deciding if we will. Like, it might just remain a recording project, but we'll decide.
Well, I think other things are going to decide for you, because nobody's playing shows right now.
Yeah, like there's no live music. Yeah.
On the flip side, though, it might be kind of cool. There might be a coolness factor in Czech Republic because you guys got an American vocalist. I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's how you can market the band.
Yeah.
American vocals.
Yeah, no, I could say on the flyer, like in parentheses,
American vocalist. You know, or like in Europe, I see that happening
Yeah, they
a
put
lot.
that on
It's
there.
like on the
You
flyer.
do?
It's dude, yeah. When we
You'll
were
say,
on
like,
tour in Europe,
like
it was
US.
U.S., Canada, French.
Yeah, it'll say like where
Yeah.
they're from on the flyer.
So for you, it can say American vocalist, Russian guitar player.
Yeah, but that actually would be a negative.
Yeah, omit the
Oh
Russian
yeah,
guitar
yeah.
player.
Don't tell him. All right, he's fully Czech. He's fully Czech.
He has become a Czech citizen now.
No,
like,
what you
recently
should
became a
put
Czech
on there
citizen.
is American vocalist, Russian guitar player, and in another parentheses, no plans of staying in Czech Republic.
Exactly.
All right. Well, shit. Thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
And,
We're gonna
Thanks
end
for
it.
having me.
Yeah, totally. We
This has been
appreciate
really
it.
fun.
And,
Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
First world. We're going worldwide.
We're going worldwide. Copper Crab
Yeah.
worldwide.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Have a good week.
Yeah, see you guys. You too. Bye.
See ya.